The middle class loves to say, I'm investing. What they really mean is they're speculating badly. They buy what's popular, not what's valuable. They follow trends, not logic, and they call it strategy. It's not strategy, it's financial cosplay. I've watched people pour their savings into crypto, meme stocks, and IPOs. They can't even pronounce just because someone on YouTube said it's the next big thing. It's the same psychology that made people chase tulips in 1637 and tech stocks in 1999. Different costumes, same stupidity. The middle class is obsessed with getting rich quickly because they never built the patience to get rich slowly. They want Buffett's returns without Buffett's temperament. They want Munger's wisdom without Munger's boredom. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. Wealth isn't built by genius. It's built by sitting still while everyone else loses their minds. But sitting still doesn't look exciting on social media. So they chase. They jump from one opportunity to another, like drunks switching bars after every drink. They say things like, you have to take risks to make money. True, but not stupid risks. The market doesn't pay extra for enthusiasm. Most people don't have an investment problem. They have an impatience problem. They want the thrill of activity, the dopamine hit of doing something. But activity and results are not the same thing. In fact, most of the time, they're opposites. I once said, the big money is not in the buying and selling, but in the waiting. And that's exactly why the middle class never sees it. Waiting looks like doing nothing, and they can't stand that. They'll tell you they diversified. What they really did was spread ignorance across multiple positions. They think diversification protects them. It doesn't. Understanding does. You can own a single great business for decades and become wealthy, or you can own 50 mediocre ones and stay average forever. But mediocrity feels safer, so they pick it again and again. And don't even get me started on the financial advice industry. Half of Wall Street exists to make simple ideas sound complicated so they can charge you for your own confusion. They'll feed you terms like alpha, beta, Sharpe ratio, as if complexity equals intelligence. It doesn't. Complexity is often just camouflage for stupidity. The truth is simple. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference in something you understand. Wait patiently while compounding works quietly in your favor. That's it. That's the formula. The middle class hears that and says, that's too boring. Then they lose money chasing something exciting. Now, if you need excitement, go to Las Vegas. At least they serve free drinks. Investing is not meant to entertain you. It's meant to reward discipline. The irony is, the middle class has access to more information than any generation before them, and yet they've never been dumber with money because they mistake information for wisdom. They think knowing the news helps them predict the future. It doesn't. It just helps them panic faster. You want to know why the rich get richer? Because they stay calm when everyone else loses control. They don't react to headlines, tweets, or trends. They think in decades, not days. The middle class can't do that. They don't have the temperament. They need results now, applause now, validation now. That's not investing. That's emotional gambling. And it always ends the same way. A pile of excuses, a bruised ego, and an empty account. So the next time you think you're investing, ask yourself, would I still hold this if nobody else was watching? If the answer is no, you're not investing. You're just trying to impress people again. And the market always collects its fee from the proud. The middle class worships income like it's salvation. They think if they can just earn a little more, everything will finally click. It never does. Because the problem isn't the size of the paycheck. It's the size of the appetite. You can't out-earn stupidity. And the middle class keeps trying. They chase promotions, side hustles, over time, but never question where the money goes. It disappears faster than it arrives. It's not magic, it's math. Every raise becomes a new bill. Every bonus becomes a new toy. Every success becomes a new excuse to spend more. That's not wealth. That's a high-income hamster wheel. You see, people love the illusion of progress. They think more income means more success. But if your expenses grow at the same rate, you're just running faster in the same circle. I've met doctors earning $500,000 a year who are broke. I've met teachers earning $50,000 who are financially free. Discipline scales better than income. You don't need to make a fortune to escape the middle class. You just need to stop behaving like one. But the middle class treats lifestyle like a scoreboard. Every dollar earned is immediately converted into comfort. And comfort, as I've said before, kills growth. They'll say, I deserve it. And that's how the trap resets. The I deserve it mindset is the most expensive phrase in any language. It's the adult version of I want it now. They work harder, earn more, and still live paycheck to paycheck. Because psychologically they're spending to feel successful, not to become free. Let me put it bluntly. If your income rises and your savings rate doesn't, you've learned nothing. People like to quote Warren and me when it's convenient, but they ignore the boring part, the discipline. We didn't get rich by earning the most. We got rich by keeping the most. The middle class hears that and rolls their eyes. They say, easy for you to say you're billionaires. No, it was easy because we understood arithmetic. You don't build wealth by addition. You build it by subtraction, subtracting stupidity, ego, and unnecessary noise. Most people have a spending reflex instead of a saving reflex. When income increases, they instinctively upgrade their lifestyle. They can't help it. They confuse can afford with should buy. If your lifestyle expands with your income, you're not getting richer. You're just buying more expensive problems. Here's what the middle class never grasps. Income is temporary. Habits are permanent. A good habit will make you rich on any income. A bad habit will bankrupt you on any salary. That's why I say the goal isn't to make more money. It's to need less, because needing less gives you options. And options are what wealth feels like. But the middle class keeps doing the opposite. They increase their dependencies as fast as their earnings. New car, bigger house, better phone, higher expectations. And suddenly they're trapped again, this time with a nicer view. You can't save what you don't respect. And the middle class doesn't respect money. They use it to display emotion, not logic. When they're happy, they spend. When they're sad, they spend. When they're bored, they spend. That's not a financial plan. That's therapy with receipts. If you want to escape the income trap, stop asking, how can I earn more? Start asking, how can I need less? Because once you control your needs, your income stops being your master and starts being your tool. The middle class keeps trying to grow their paycheck. The rich focus on shrinking their dependence. One builds freedom, the other builds frustration. So next time you celebrate a raise, don't rush to upgrade your lifestyle. Upgrade your patience. Upgrade your discipline. Because the day your expenses rise slower than your income, that's the day you finally start getting rich. The middle class doesn't just pay taxes to the government. They pay a much larger one, the ignorance tax. It's invisible. It's voluntary. And it never stops collecting. Every time they sign a bad loan, swipe a high-interest credit card, chase a dumb investment, or buy insurance, they don't need, they're paying it. They don't notice because it's disguised as normal life. Ignorance is expensive, but it doesn't send you a bill. It just quietly compounds against you. People love to complain about the wealthy paying less in taxes, but the truth is, the rich don't avoid taxes, they avoid ignorance. They read the fine print. They understand the rules. They know how the system works because they took the time to learn it. Meanwhile, the middle class signs whatever is put in front of them as long as the monthly payment fits the budget. That's not financial literacy. That's a slow motion surrender. You know what ignorance looks like in real life. It's the person who buys a brand new car with a 7-year loan. It's the homeowner who doesn't understand compound interest but brags about equity. It's the investor who can't explain what they own but checks the price 5 times a day. They call it living. I call it leaking. You don't have to be brilliant to avoid it. You just have to be curious. But curiosity requires humility. And humility is rare in the middle class. They think reading about money is boring. They'd rather binge a Netflix series than a balance sheet. So they stay ignorant. And the cost of that ignorance gets deducted automatically from their future. The market punishes arrogance, but it absolutely crushes ignorance. I once said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. That's not a metaphor, that's an invoice. Most people don't even know the basic laws of compounding inflation or opportunity cost. They can name every celebrity scandal of the month, but not their own annual expenses. That's why they get blindsided by the same traps over and over. Predatory lenders, shady investment schemes, too good to be true deals. These aren't new. They just change logos every decade, and the same crowd keeps falling for them. You can't protect what you don't understand, and the middle class refuses to understand. They say money isn't everything. True, but not understanding money makes everything harder. Financial ignorance creates dependence. Dependence creates fear. Fear creates obedience. That's the real hierarchy. If you don't know how money works, someone else will make it work for them using you as the labor. That's how capitalism weeds out the careless. It rewards attention and punishes distraction. The rich spend years learning how to make money multiply. The middle class spends years figuring out how to spend it faster. And then they call the results unfair. It's not unfair. It's arithmetic. Knowledge compounds faster than capital. And the middle class never compounds either one. They think financial education is optional. It's not. It's survival. The irony is, in the age of free information, ignorance is now a choice. Every answer is online. Every book is one click away. But people still choose comfort over curiosity, so they'll keep paying quietly, endlessly, through bad deals, high fees, and missed opportunities. That's the ignorance tax. And it's the only tax with no deductions, no refunds, and no sympathy. The day you stop paying it is the day your money finally starts working for you instead of against you. But most won't stop, because that requires admitting they've been fools. And the ego hates that more than poverty itself. If you want to understand why the middle class stays broke, forget economics, study envy. Envy is the most contagious disease on earth. And unlike the flu, it doesn't make you sick overnight. It kills you slowly in installments. The middle class doesn't compete with the rich. They compete with each other, and they all lose. Your neighbor upgrades his car, so you feel your perfectly fine one looks old. Your coworker buys a new phone, so suddenly your own feels slow. You get the idea. This isn't economics. It's psychology, and very stupid psychology. Envy is the tax you pay for caring about what doesn't matter. The middle class can't build wealth because they're too busy keeping up appearances. They think prosperity is a competition. It's not. It's arithmetic. And arithmetic doesn't care about your ego. Buffett and I used to joke that envy is the only sin that doesn't make you feel good. At least greed, lust, and gluttony have a payoff. Envy is pure pain, and yet people line up for it daily. You see it everywhere now. Social media made envy scalable. Every scroll is a reminder that someone else seems richer, happier, thinner, younger. So people spend, chase, and exhaust themselves trying to catch up to images that aren't even real. They call it inspiration. I call it financial suicide by comparison. The middle class doesn't need higher incomes. They need lower envy. Envy forces bad decisions. It makes you buy what you don't need, invest where you don't understand, and waste time proving things nobody remembers. I've seen entire careers ruined because someone couldn't stand being outshined by a peer. They switched jobs, chased titles, bought toys, all to stay ahead. They didn't get ahead. They just got tired. Envy is like a leech. It drains your focus from what you can control and attaches it to what you can't. And what you can't control is endless. There will always be someone richer, always someone luckier, always someone younger. If that bothers you, you'll never know peace. And peace, ironically, is what wealth is for. The rich don't waste energy competing on vanity metrics. They compete on knowledge, on patience, on judgment. And the funny thing is, most of them aren't even competing. They're too busy compounding. The middle class, meanwhile, is too busy comparing. Comparison makes you emotional. Emotion makes you stupid. And stupidity makes you poor. That's the chain. You can break it the moment you stop measuring your life with other people's rulers. Because envy doesn't just cost money. It costs clarity. It fogs your mind until you can't tell the difference between genuine ambition and desperate imitation. There's a difference between wanting to improve and wanting to outshine. One builds wealth, the other burns it. Envy makes people live beyond their means, take dumb financial risks, and justify reckless choices with everyone's doing it. You know who else said that? Every broke generation in history. If you want to live better than most people, you have to think opposite of most people. But envy keeps you in the herd, and the herd never gets rich. I've met quiet millionaires who wear simple clothes, drive old cars, and never broadcast their success. They're not hiding it. They're just not infected. Because the moment you stop needing to look richer, you start becoming richer. The cure to envy is gratitude and discipline. And the middle class has neither in abundance. They measure life by who's ahead when they should be measuring by, am I improving? Envy is endless. Discipline compound. Choose one, because the other will drain you dry and you won't even see it happening. As I've said before, envy is a really stupid sin because it's the only one you can't have any fun at. And yet, the middle class keeps paying that price with their wallets, their peace, and their sanity. The deadliest trap of all isn't debt, envy, or spending. It's thinking you're fine. Most of the middle class isn't desperate. They're comfortable. And that's exactly why they'll never change. They confuse stability with security. A steady job, a paid mortgage, a little savings, they think that's enough. It's not. Stability is not the same as freedom. It's just a slower cage. I've seen this story for 80 years. People climb just high enough to stop worrying, and then they stop thinking. They stop learning. They stop improving. They coast on autopilot, believing the system will take care of them. But systems don't care. Inflation doesn't care. Markets don't care. And time, least of all, doesn't care. The middle class trusts comfort like a religion. They think because life looks normal, they're safe. But all it takes is one job loss, one illness, one market crash, and that comfort evaporates overnight. I've always said, all I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there. The middle class refuses to look. They live financially blind, assuming tomorrow will resemble today. That's not optimism. That's negligence. Most people will never retire, not because they didn't work hard, but because they never built anything that worked without them. They spend their entire lives feeding other people's machines, employés, lenders, government, and never build one of their own. By the time they realize it, they're too old to start over. That's the quiet tragedy of the modern middle class. They mistake motion for progress. They mistake income for wealth. They mistake appearance for success. And they mistake comfort for control. That's how smart people end up trapped, not by failure, but by good enough. The rich aren't necessarily smarter. They're just more paranoid about staying stupid. They keep learning. They keep adapting. They stay curious long after the middle class stops paying attention. If you ever want to escape the traps, you have to admit you're still capable of falling into them. Humility is your only defense. Every fortune starts with one decision: to stop being ignorant, comfortable, and average. Not tomorrow. Not when the market's better. Now, stop chasing luxury. Start building liquidity. Stop showing off. Start showing discipline. Stop confusing consumption with progress. The path is simple. Brutal, but simple. Spend less than you earn. Invest what you save. Avoid stupidity. Repeat for decades. That's it. No secret formula. No next big thing. No guru course. Just discipline compounded over time. But most won't do it because simplicity feels insulting to people who want shortcuts. That's why they'll stay broke proudly, stubbornly, and loudly. And that's why I've always said, it's not supposed to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. The middle class keeps waiting for a miracle. The rich simply stopped making excuses. So ask yourself honestly, are you building freedom or just decorating your cage? Because the bars don't disappear when you call them goals. And until you see the trap for what it is, you'll keep walking in circles, thinking you're safe, when really, you're standing still. That's the final trap. And most people never notice it until it's too late.